Morning, Vinyl community. Hi, I hope everybody's doing well on this lovely sunny Sunday morning here in the UK. Yeah, I thought I'd jump on this morning and just do, which will hopefully be a fairly brief video. This is a response, and I don't know whether he was expecting anybody to do a response. I can't remember if it was put out as an official thread or not, but I was thinking about it and I enjoyed the video that he did first time round, so I thought I'd do a response. This was for James Griffiths, and James did a sort of show and tell of 10 psychedelic songs. Yeah, and the caveat was that it wasn't necessarily his favourites, but just ones that obviously came to mind that he enjoys and would fit fit into the genre. So I've kind of done the same thing. I've done this fairly quickly. Just ones. I've got other albums and other songs that I guess I could show, but yeah, I've just picked these out because these are ones that sort of came to mind. I've tried to avoid some obvious ones, like sort of 8 Miles High, the Birds, and Beatles stuff or whatever. So, but anyway, we'll have a go at this and run through them. Okay, so as I say, one or two of them may be a bit spurious. They're not necessarily psychedelic in the sort of psychedelic era as such, but they're psychedelic leaning or sounding because of the style in which they were recorded. So yeah, anyway, so enough gabbling, let's get on with it. Okay, so the first one, this is a possibly a bit of a controversial start. This is the Inner Mystique, which is the Chocolate Watch Band. This is their second album from 1968, and yeah, controversial, I guess, in a way, because I actually found out after I bought this that the entire first side of this record is not actually recorded by the band themselves. They were kind of studio musicians, but personally I don't care because it's fantastically recorded, sort of much less kind of garage sort of feel than the first album. As much as I enjoyed the first album, this kind of is a bit more expansive in terms of production, and yeah, the first side of this album is brilliant, but the song I'm going to go for is the opening track, which is Voyage of the Trieste, and this is a wonderful kind of yeah, just sort of, it builds up with a sort of, those who aren't familiar with this album, it sort of builds up with a kind of bass riff, and then this kind of almost like kind of this chiming one note kind of power chord or note, I guess, on the electric with plenty of fuzz and distortion, and it just, yeah, the first time I heard it, it was just hypnotic, and it just sucked you in straight away. And it's an instrumental, but which sort of I think almost segues into the second track. But yeah, it's wonderful, wonderful track, well worth checking out. This is a reissue, as with most of my psychedelic albums, because they're so damn expensive to get the originals, even if you're lucky enough to find them. They're pretty scarce. So, but this is a nice reissue on Tower Records, I think it is. I think this came out in the 90s, I think. But yeah, and obviously fantastic cover as well. One of those sort of sleeves that you can just stare into and sort of keep seeing things. Sorry, I'll move on to the next one. Anyway, so yeah, number 2. This is a classic UK Baroque pop, not necessarily psych, but it's a very popular one. A lot of you got this. It's been shown and talked about lots of times, rightly so. It's a absolutely fantastic album. This is Odyssey and Oracle, of course, the Zombies. And the song I'm going to elect for on this is the last track on side 1, which is Hung Up on a Dream, which is probably my favourite song on the album. And yeah, I mean, the lyrics and the sort of the mellotron and the feel of it is probably the most sort of psych leaning on the album, possibly. But yeah, it's nothing else needs to be said about this record. It's just wonderful. So this was quite an interesting one, which was a Sainsbury's release. It was kind of a limited edition on this orange vinyl. Not that I'm that bothered about coloured vinyls, but I was pleased to pick that up. And yeah, nice pressing. It sounds great. Okay, next one is from a psych soul band that I really like, that I discovered about a year or so ago. These are from the US, and they're on a subsidiary of Chess Records called Cadet Concept. And this is a group that sported the fantastic vocal acrobatics of Minnie Riperton, and this is the Rotary Connection. It's a fabulous record. This is from 1968, and the track I'm going for, because there's a fairly sort of psychedelic, kind of funky soul kind of sound throughout all of this, but the one that I really enjoy is the last one on side 1, which is I took a ride. It says I took a ride in my caravan, but it's got caravan in brackets, and it's just a 6-minute ride. Basically, it's just wonderful, orchestrated and sort of dreamy kind of vocals, and yeah, it's definitely, I'd say, transcendent. You can sort of drift off to it and just lose yourself in it when you listen to it. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, looking for more stuff by them. So I do have their last album, which I think I showed the other week. But yeah, that's yeah, fantastic. So okay, moving on. Sticking with the US, I think this is a classic psychedelic band of the era, and this is Kaleidoscope, and this is their first album, Side Trips. Yeah, this is a great kind of acoustic psychedelic record, for those who aren't familiar with it. It was reissued on this Edsel Records. Again, yeah, I'd be hard pushed to find an original of this. Yeah, I've never seen one, and I would imagine if they're in good nick, they'd be very expensive. But yeah, this is from 1967, I believe. I think the single off this was Egyptian Gardens. But the song I'm going to opt for on this is the first track on side 2, which is Pulsating Dream. Yeah, and yeah, just absolutely wonderful, quite Birds-like. I guess the feel of that song, that's what it reminds me of anyway. But yeah, they're a good band, great band to check out if you're not familiar with them. So that's the Kaleidoscope and Pulsating Dream from Side Trips. Okay, now the next one you might be quite surprised about, but yeah, I thought I'd put this in because certainly the original of this was quite psychedelic, and certainly the way that she does it on this album is likewise. And this is Eartha Kitt, and this is her album Sentimental Earth. This was an album that she recorded in 1970 after she upset Lyndon B. Johnson's wife with an anti-Vietnam comment, I think, at a dinner. So she escaped to the UK to sort of salvage her career, I guess. But she cut this album, and I think I believe this was the last album that she produced for about 15 years until the mid-80s. It's really, really good. There's 3 Donovan covers on this record, remarkably. All of them are great. So you got Where You Love Like Heaven, Catch the Wind. But the song I'm going for on this, which has the sort of like the original, with the kind of very kind of fuzz heavy guitar on it, is the last track, which is Hurdy Gurdy Man. And yeah, just superb. And the way she sings it as well, in a kind of very mysterious kind of way, and this kind of slow delivery. But just, you know, she's such an expressive singer. And yeah, with the psychedelic treatment on it, is wonderful. So yeah, well worth checking that out if you can find a copy. So I don't think it's particularly rare. Okay, next one is I don't know whether this one has been shown, but this is The Move, and this is a twofer. So you've got the first album and then the second album, Shazam. And yeah, I guess I mean, they're both sort of have psychedelic elements in them, with sort of quite a lot of studio trickery going on and so on. But yeah, the song I'm gonna go for on this is I don't know, what shall I pick on this? Yeah, Here We Go Round the Lemon Tree. Why not? It's kind of got that, I wouldn't say it's particularly psychedelic, but it's got those kind of childlike sort of nursery rhyme lyrics, which I guess were kind of part of the kind of the vibe of kind of psychedelia, and sort of particularly UK psychedelia, I guess, from this period, kind of 1967, 68. So yeah, so that's Here We Go Round the Lemon Tree by The Move. Okay. The next one, I'm not actually going to pick an individual track at all, because you can't really, because this album is just a trip from beginning to end. And yeah, it's one of these that you kind of almost have to put on in its entirety, even though it was abridged and it was from 2 separate concerts. This is The Space Ritual by Hawkwind. So this is 1973 album that was recorded 1972, and yeah, I mean, obviously the whole Hawkwind sound, you've got these kind of wind machines and fuzz guitars and phased out vocals, and you know, Robert Calvert sort of speaking his poetry, and Michael Moorcock, you know, it's all going on this record. Fabulous. But I guess, yeah, if you were kind of picking one, I guess Sonic Attack is a fairly is a kind of standout on this, I guess, which is pretty trippy. So yeah, and that little comment on the back there, that quote there, flying is trying is dying. So there you go, the wonderful Hawkwind. Okay, next one is a later album. This is from 1977, and this is the fabulous Steve Hillage, and this is quite a sort of commercial sounding album, I guess, for the time. I think this sold quite well. And yeah, but the track I'm going to go for on this, because this is all fairly kind of space rock and you know, talking about UFOs and and all sorts. And track I'm going to go for, which is probably one of my favourites on this, is Light in the Sky. Oh me, oh my, there's a light in the sky. I just love that. So yeah, Steve Hillage, great stuff. Yeah. Okay, a couple more. This is the wonderful White Rabbit. Bit of an obvious one, I suppose, but yeah, had to be included. This is from the compilation Worst of Jefferson Airplane, but I think it was on their Surrealistic Pillow album, which I don't have. Yeah, I mean, it's just 2 minutes of, you know, this kind of, yeah, I mean, we all know it, don't we? That kind of sort of bolero almost kind of rhythm, and the drum just so menacing, and just the sort of Alice in Wonderland, Lewis Carroll lyrics. Yeah, I guess just kind of epitomizes the psychedelic experience. So yeah, superb. 2 minutes of sheer brilliance. Okay, and to end with, this is definitely heavily in the psychedelic realm, and one of my favourite, definitely one of my favourites. This is July. This is quite a recent reissue that I bought. This is, of course, the group headed by Tom Newman. This was their UK side band from London. This is their one and only album before they disbanded. But yeah, the fantastic My Clown. And I'm going to include Dandelion Seeds as well, because, you know, that's fairly trippy as well. I think that was released as a, if not a double A side, but certainly, yeah, but they were both on the same, released on the same single. So, and you've got, yeah, very, very kind of psychedelic lyrics, the kind of trippy, just a very trippy feel really throughout both of those, sort of phased vocals, and yeah, wonderful stuff. And just look at that cover. It doesn't get much more psychedelic than that. So yeah, that's just a quick run through those. Some favourites in there, some interesting ones, I guess. But yeah, so that was a good thread, and thanks for doing that, James. Enjoyed doing that response. So yeah, I hope you're all doing well, guys, anyway, and yeah, I'll be uploading some more content soon. So keep safe, guys, and yeah, talk to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.